What's good, everybody, man? It's your boy, Mr. CDK Boxing. Let's talk boxing. Now, listen up, folks. I haven't done this in a while. I'm a busy man. I ain't gonna lie. I'm a busy man. A lot of times I don't have time to go live like I want to, but I enjoy, talking boxing. I enjoy every day I'm on live. I'm watching everything going on, and I pay attention to boxing. I pay a lot of attention to boxing. Boxing, man, to me, it's always been my favorite sport. I box. I played football. I wrestle. I ran track. I've always been an athlete. I was a pretty good athlete. I consider myself a really good athlete. But I chose choices. I made choices. Let me say I ain't choose choices. I made choices. I made choices in life that led me down the wrong path at times. But you know what? I'm still proud of what God has done for me, and I'm okay. God has blessed me with a beautiful life. You know what I'm saying? A beautiful wife and a beautiful home, cars, money, everything that I've ever wanted in life, God has given to me. I'm okay, and I can live with that. I can live with what God has done for me. So I don't have to look back and say, well, man, I could have done this or done that, or maybe I could have went pro or in boxing. I can honestly say that God has made sure my life has been okay. And I've been through some tough times in life. You understand what I'm saying? And the reason I'm talking about tough times right now, I want y'all to understand something. Nobody knows tough times like I know tough times. And I see Javante Tank Davis is going through tough times. And what I mean by that right now is listen, I think and truly believe that Tank and a lot of these young guys have allowed Floyd Mayweather's and not want to let it go affect how they move in boxing. Boxing has become a sport where a lot of folks don't want to do anything, you know what I'm saying, or fight anybody because they're scared to let that go. That's why I respect Devin Haney. When people talk bad about Devin Haney, I always tell people this. Devin Haney is willing to take chances. No matter what you think about Devin Haney is that guy that's willing to get in the ring and face tough competition. Now, can you be mad? I was listening to Cool Boy the other day, and Cool Boy said something that made sense. Tank is looking at this generational wealth. He's looking at what, Jake Paul is put on the table. I think it's $40 million, I believe. And $40 million is a lot of money, folks. I would never let $40 million pass me by. I am proud of Tank for getting that money. But I have a problem with one thing. And see, that's what people don't understand. You can be happy for somebody and still have an opinion on what they're doing. I have an opinion on what Tank is doing. And my opinion is this, folks. I don't want to see Javante Tank Davis fight Jake Paul and then ride off into the sunset. There's too much left to do. I don't care if Tank loses to Shakur Stevenson. I want to see the fight. There are so many fights that we are not getting because a lot of people have got in that Floyd Mayweather type of mindset and saying to themselves, I can't let my old go. As a man, you should never be scared of another man. As a man, you should be willing to always stand 10 toes down, and whatever comes your way, you should be willing to deal with it. Now, I looked at what Tank told Shakur on Twitter today. I'm never going to fight you. I ain't gonna lie, I didn't want to hear that because that is a fight that I want to see. Not because I think Tank will lose, because I think that, there's a fight that the fans deserve. Man, people can say whatever they want to say. Shakur Stevenson is a great fighter. Tank Davis is a great fighter. I truly believe these young guys. Yes, 100%. I agree with you 100%. Jake Paul is WWE, and I'm tired because Jake Paul has no business. Jake Paul is making this Tank Davis fight seem like as if you're fighting a guy, you're fighting David Benavidez, you're fighting Arthur, you're fighting, Dimitri. You're not fighting a guy around your weight class. You know what I'm saying? There's so many guys around Jake Paul weight class. You want to prove something to us? Fight somebody around your weight class. You're fighting the guy that's 135 pounds, probably walks around at 150, 160. You know what I'm saying? And you want us to believe that this is an all-time great fight. Another thing, you said, well, I'm fighting the top 10. If you want to fight somebody in the top 10, fight somebody around your weight class. I would have had more respect for Jake Paul had he took on maybe even a Jerron Boots Henry, somebody that's at least, 154, 160. Man, man, you got me tripping. What you said, the great white height. You know what I'm saying? Jake Paul, you know what I'm saying, is getting away with murder in the sport of boxing. And he's allowing himself and the guys around him. You got these guys that's kissing ass. You know what I'm saying? They're riding with Jake Paul. We got one former boxer. I think his name is, I can't even remember his name. He didn't do much in boxing. Leon, Jay, whatever his name is. He didn't do much in boxing. You know what I'm saying? But he done his thing. I don't never hate on nobody. But at the same time, people are allowing Jake Paul to say whatever he wants to say about boxing, do what he want to do. You follow Mike Tyson. You're trying to take credit for beating a man that's way beyond his years when it comes to the sport of boxing. Come on, man. We seen what Mike Tyson looked like in his last fight. And you want us to believe that you fighting Tank is some kind of like you just making a power move and you're fighting one of the greatest to ever do it. Jake Paul, and that's why I really hope truly that Tank is able to go out there and get focused. I don't see focus in Tank. I listen to Timothy Bradley. I don't always agree with Timothy Bradley, but I do agree that, Tank is not focused. Now he has Calvin in his corner. Do I believe that Tank will be able to hurt Jake Paul? I don't know. Man, no matter how strong you are or no matter how hard you punch, when you're fighting against a guy that outweighs you by 50 pounds, if he has any kind of decent chin or any kind of, Jake has novice boxing skills at best. At best. But that's all you need when you're fighting a guy 50, 60 pounds heavier than you. You know what I'm saying? That's all you need. You should be able to bully Tank around the ring. I'm sorry. You should be able to move Tank around and do what you want to do as far as it comes inside that ring. I'm hoping for Tank goes out there and he's really focused. I hope Tank uses his speed, agility, and since he's been boxing since he was 5, 6 years old, I hope Tank puts all that in play and does something with it. But do I believe, you know what I'm saying? Man, this is sports entertainment. You know what I'm saying? This is sports entertainment in a bad way, and everything you're saying is nothing but the truth. And a lot of people are falling for it. We have let this stuff go on for so long. You got Shakur Stevenson, Tank. You got Teofimo Lopez, Tank. You got guys, you got a rematch with Lamont Roach, Tank. And people get mad when you say these things. And it's not hating on Tank. I'm a Tank fan. But at the same time, I'm a fan of boxing. And I got to tell the truth. What Tank is doing right now doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for Tank to go out there and be facing a Jake Paul. But at the same time, I'm not mad at him. If you go out there and fight Jake Paul and you get $40, $50 million, and then you say, okay, now it's back to business, I have no problem with that. But you know what I'm saying? You took a little detour. You joined the circus for a day or two. You fought Jake Paul, left the circus, now you're getting back in the ring to box again. I have no problem with that. But for anybody that's riding with this decision, what Tank's in 8 weeks, he's done with boxing. No, you should not be proud of Tank. You should not be happy with his decision. And, everybody has the right to do what they want to do. But at the same time, I keep telling people, you pay your hard-earned money to watch these fighters go out there and put on these performances and get in these rings and take on these boxing matches. I don't care if it's Netflix and you got a subscription or whatever. You still pay your money, whatever it may be. You still pay your money to see fighters take on the tough challenges. What happened to the days when we got to see the best fight the best? We don't see that anymore. I'll never put these boxers up to date on the level of Sugar Ray Leonard, Roberto Duran, you know what I'm saying, Salvador Sanchez, or you know what I'm saying, none of these guys, Ali, Foreman, and the list goes on. I can't put you on that list. How can I put you on the list with the greats when you really don't want to be great? When people got to drag you out the dressing room and make you fight somebody. When people got to, you know what I'm saying, take the pen, put it in your hand and make you sign the contract. Because that's what we got going on now. It seems like the promoters are having to make these fighters, put their name on the dotted line. Now, I seen my brother, Doug, go on, GHB TV. Greg Hackett's my guy. That's my guy right there. But I feel like last night, I'm going to tell y'all something. When you go on like a channel like GHB TV, Greg Hackett or anybody, man, at all times you have to be prepared because these guys will roll you up under the rug if you're not prepared. Because for one, you're going into hostile territory. You're going on another guy's channel. He already got his followers or whoever, listen to what he got to say. So when you come on there, the first thing they going to do, when you say something they don't want to hear, man, they riding against you. Now you got to really put your foot down. You got to really let them know, man, I ain't trying to hear what you're talking about. I'm standing on business. I'm going to say what I say, and I mean what I say. So we got to be careful when we jump over to these channels, man. You got to be prepared because these guys will say anything. And we all know, man, for a fact that, hey, at the end of the day, I love what, I like to watch Deron Boots in it fight. But do I think that too many fights have been turned down? Yes, I do. It's not a lie. I don't have no problem with Boots. I can say I'm a fan of Boots and at the same time say Boots was supposed to go ahead and beat up Teofimo Lopez. Out of respect for what we've went through, out of everything that Tio said about us, he supposed to get beat up. You know what I'm saying? He supposed to get beat up. Now, he didn't get beat up. Tio's been ducking a lot of smoke himself. But Boots has, I believe, generational talent. I believe Boots can be great. But at a time, there comes a time. See, I don't get the interviews with Boots. So I don't have to be biased. I don't go to the gym with him. I don't have to sit here and lie and say that, when I see Boots, you know what I'm saying? When I see greatness, he's taking on this challenge, that challenge. No. Virgil Ortiz should have been fought. There are too many fights. Ernst and Lubin wanted to fight with Boots. That fight right there, going to 154, no tune-up. When you're great, when you are great, you don't need a tune-up fight. When you're great, you move up and you fight what's in front of you, and you get the fans and the people what they want. And I think some of those things I wish my brother Doug would have put on the table last night. Because when you don't and you go to channels like GHB TV and stuff, man, when them guys over there, man, they like wolf, man. It's the wolf pack. They gonna talk bad about you, not great. Now I'm talking about the crowd, everybody out there, they riding with they riding with who they watch. So it's your time to shine when you go over there, man. And you say, I like Crawford, but I haven't seen that fight like Leonard and her. Man, Leonard and Hearn is one of the greatest fights that I've ever seen. I keep saying this all the time. Leonard and Hearns to me is my favorite fight ever. It's my favorite fight ever. Ever. You know what I'm saying? Those guys, my fault. I'm going to take that back. I didn't mean Leonard and Hearns. Hagler and Hearns to me was my favorite fight ever. Leonard and Hearns had a spectacular fight. But like I said, when y'all change over and go to these other people's channels, y'all got to be willing to go over there and know you're going to war. You're going to hostile territory. I say it's something about Manager Marty. I went to Manager Marty channel, and I still stood on that same business, and I articulated myself very well. Y'all forgive me a little bit. I'm a little tipsy, but I went over there and talked the same stuff that I said before, and I made it make sense. I didn't give the crowd or his fans or whatever you want to call them, his peoples. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't call people fans. Like anybody come to my channel, man, y'all my folks, y'all my family. So that's how I look at it. So I didn't give his family time to jump in the race and go off on me. You know what I'm saying? No, I stood on it and I made it make sense. You know what I'm saying? I didn't like the way he was attacking Bud. I told him I felt like that he was attacking black fighters all the time, but I never seen him say anything about certain Canelos and others who had failed, these drug tests. And now with the Bud Crawford situation, we've heard Bud, that they want Bud to fight David Benavidez. You see how they do? You can never do enough. I like Bud as a fighter, but do I put him on the level of Floyd Mayweather? No. I don't care what nobody said. You can't take two fights and say this guy done what Floyd Mayweather done. Floyd Mayweather beat 23 world champions, and I'm not a big Floyd fan, but I tell the truth. And the reason I'm not a big Floyd fan, I've never been a big Floyd fan because I never liked the way he talked about Ali. I just keep it real with you. And that's just how I feel about it. I never thought he gave Ali the respect he deserved. And I feel like Ali, the reason we love Ali so much because Ali is a champion in and out of the ring. He stood for something. And when you stand for something like what Ali stood for, you can't do nothing but love Ali. And a lot of people never had that respect. So Ali will always be my favorite fighter. Do I think he's the best heavyweight ever? It's up for debate. I think he's in the top 2 or 3. But I've always been a fan of Lennox Lewis. That's just my personal opinion, how I feel. I've always felt like Lennox Lewis was special. You know what I'm saying? He lost fights that he shouldn't have lost, in my opinion. Like lack of focus or whatever it may have been. But he came back and he redeemed himself. But we keep looking, and I feel like right now with Tank, I don't think Tank is focused. I don't want Tank to go out there, man, and give Jake Paul opportunity to get a win. And we got to hear about this for the next 2 or 3 years. I beat Tank Davis like he really beat somebody in his weight class. 50, 60 pounds in the ring, folks, or in the life, period, is a whole lot of weight. It's just too much. You know what I'm saying? Tank is like, you look at Tank, he's 5'4", 5'5", 5'4.5", whatever he is. Jake Paul 6 foot. That's a big difference. A big difference. And I don't know how Tank overcomes that. I definitely think Tank is the better boxer. Ain't no doubt about it. Ain't no doubt about that. He's the better boxer, more experience, more time in the ring. But do we know what's gonna happen? No, we don't. It's gonna be like Jake Paul. If Jake Paul was fighting David Benavidez, Arthur, Ja, one of those guys around that weight class, they mopped the floor with him. He knows that. I don't care. Even a washed up Canelo Alvarez, if Canelo is really done as people think, And I don't think Canelo's really washed up. I think Canelo's always been a guy, later on in his career that's been able to throw one or two punches and throw power punches, and he was able to shock people and hit you with some shots and back you up and make you, start to fear what you was throwing. The thing that Bud Crawford, Floyd beat everyone. Yep. I thought the Pacquiao fight happened too late. It did. My favorite athletes were at the top of their game, and socially they were inactive. And I agree 100% with you. And I'm going to tell you why. Pacquiao's my favorite fighter, you know what I'm saying? Ever. And everybody, big BVO, anybody will tell you that. Pacquiao's my favorite fighter. I think, and this is what people don't understand. You can be older than somebody, but not have as many miles on your body as that person does. Pacquiao was in wars. You had Marquez. You had I'm just going through, let me see. You had who else? Marquez, you had Morales. Man, Pacquiao was in wars. Timothy Bradley. You go through the list of names of people that he fought. Barrera. This man was in real wars. Pacquiao went through wars, man. So it made a big difference. And I think, I'm like you. I believe that fight with Pacquiao and Floyd happened about 5 years too late. I wish it would have been in their primes. I had picked Pacquiao still to win that fight. Floyd done what he always done. He showed up and he showed out. I thought the fight was boring, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I also, realized that Floyd is a technician in that ring, and we can't take that from him. You know what I'm saying? But Pacquiao has always been my favorite fighter because Pacquiao gave us exciting fights. But if we go on, man, like I said, right now we got Tank Davis, you know what I'm saying, Jake Paul. This is what we're looking at, folks, in boxing. We got Dana White trying to take away the Ali Act. Something that people are not really focused on and don't know what this means, man. Dana White is the worst type of person ever. Dana White only cares about being a billionaire, taking care of his family. He's never cared about the fighters in the UFC. Those people don't get paid good. It takes them forever to get paid. If you think I'm lying, why does UFC fighters keep running to boxing? How many boxers do you see running to the UFC? When you see a boxer go to the UFC, that means when you seen the rape, what was the name, Mercer and whoever else, you know what I'm saying, go over there. These guys were way past their prime over the hill and looking to make $1. You know what I'm saying? They're not gonna. I would never run to the UFC when I can make in boxing fighting a mediocre fighter 10 times what I can make in the UFC. And that's the problem. It has been the problem for a long time. And right now it's really hurting, you know what I'm saying, the sport. John Jones has basically left the sport of UFC because of the pay. Not because he's scared of Tom. Yeah, I do know UFC too. John Jones wants to be paid. He wants to be compensated. Why do people have a problem with that? That's why I say I don't really have a problem with Tank's doing right now. You know what I'm saying? The White Don King. Yes, sir, you said it. And hey, I got the post. I got to put that up there real quick. Yes, sir, you said it. Man, listen, man. Bro, the White Don King. You know what I'm saying? He is dead. And I never thought about it. You just made me think about something that I never thought about. But that's what he is. He is the White Don King. He has done nothing. And I mean nothing, but really sit back and eat while everybody else was starving and taking care of his family. And we see how he do people. That ain't right, man. It's not right. It's not right. But like I said, Shakur Stevenson, man, I'm gonna be all over the place tonight because I'm just talking boxing. I'm feeling good. I'm having a good time. You got Shakur Stevenson who wants this Tank Davis fight. Y'all can say, okay, he want a bag. But at the same time, does it matter? If Tank is who we think he is or say he is, why should Shakur not get that fight? Because we say Shakur is who he say he is. These guys should be fighting each other. Javante Tank Davis and Shakur Stevenson should be in the ring. I feel like after the Jake Paul fiasco, and if Shakur decides to take on, none other than Teofimo Lopez and he's victorious, I would like to see that fight. Anybody don't want to see that fight is crazy. Lamar Bro should have got a free match. I'm sorry. He should have got it. But we sit there and listen to people say, no, he should have got the rematch. Hold on one second. Hold on. I got a big call coming in, y'all. Hold on one second. I'm gonna got a call. I'll be back.